The market's falling off a cliff. Should we be worried? Let's talk about it on the Weekend Update. Okay, friends, let's talk about the market. Here's what you need to know. First up, this is the market the way we've always been looking at it, but this was the view from last week. So this red is the S&P 500, yellow that you see here is the 50-day moving average, this purple that you see down here, this is the 200-day moving average, and this was going into last week, and I was talking about how, hey, we have a test of the 50-day, it looks like it's going to resolve, it's going to hold, everything looked good, very positive message last week. Everything was great, couldn't get any better. Let's move forward to this week. Uh-oh, that doesn't look good, right? So here's red is S&P 500, orange is the 50-day moving average, purple is the 200-day, and what do you notice? Well, whatever rally, whatever double bounce on the 50-day that we were going to have, looks like it's fallen apart here. This doesn't look good. This looks bad. What do I think is going to happen from here? Well, the chart does look bad, at least on first glance, but if you know what to look for, and if you dig a little bit deeper into the chart, you'll notice that there's actually a lot of reasons for optimism here. I'll go through a few that jump out to me. First up, remember, in a test around the 50-day, the market is going to move up and down on the 50-day, and that's why you want to wait for confirmation before deciding that a break of the 50-day has happened. And one of the ways that I look for confirmation is a close 3% below the 50-day. The 50-day is currently 592, so that means at 580, spot 49, where we closed today, we're not below that 3% envelope. What does that mean? That means we're still alive. And this looks very similar to me like what happened, this was earlier in the year, well, this was 2024, but this was the yen carry trade unwinding. And basically what we had down here was, we had an open 3% below the 50-day and then very quickly corrected. So what this looks like to me, that we didn't get the 3% close as of this week, I think that the market maybe has a turnaround in the cards. And if that's going to happen, we should see it start to impact almost immediately next week. This week was interesting because we lost Thursday because of the presidential funeral. So there's a lot of interesting stuff that happened this week. I think we might take a mulligan on it. What I'm showing you here, what I've done is I've moved to a weekly view of the S&P 500, and I wanted to show you another reason why I've got some positive vibes about what the market is doing is because of the volume. So here's the volume for the sell-off. We basically had 268 million shares in a sell-off, but what do you notice? Compared to other sell-offs that we saw, here's September last year, so this was the yen carry trade unwind, you notice that volumes were much higher during that sell-off, and that's normal for sell-offs. That's typically when, everyone's supposed to be screaming fire, running around with their hair on fire. So you're supposed to see a lot more market activity. Something in the 340, 350 million shares per week sort of zone is normal for a sell-off. This is really light. This is anemic. This is, only maybe a third less volume than what we're used to seeing here, maybe even less than that. So what that tells me is if not a whole lot of people are trading, this is kind of like my message from last week where I said, we're still on holiday time. Volume is clearly saying that. And one of the reasons why I think we're on holiday time, this was from last time where I said, we're not going to get any data. Earnings season starts Wednesday of this week coming up, but we've basically been in no man's land up until this point. But I think I'm onto something here where I said, I think as we get into the first week of February, second week of February, that's where earnings is going to start to pick up for the Mag 7, and that's really where the market should start to come alive again. And I think I'm onto something because what do you notice here? Well, it's Friday, January 10th, and Delta Airlines reported today. And so I think it might be good for us to take a look and see what did Delta tell us, maybe as, kind of prelude to what this earnings season is going to look like. What did Delta tell us? Well, Delta told us a pretty great story. Delta stock pops following Q4 earnings beat as CEO sees a great amount of momentum, best ever annual revenue. Delta stock was up 9% today. And so if you look at the move that Delta Airlines did, up 9%, that's great, went right back to all-time highs despite, a very significant slide over several weeks with a test on its 50-day. Okay, that looks pretty good. I think that might be coming to the rest of the market. And most importantly, if we look today, huge amount of volume came in, right? All of these things are positive developments. So what does this tell me? I think this is coming for the market more broadly. I think we just have to wait for earnings season for things to shake out. So my reasons to be positive are, number one, this was a weird week. Number two, we're still alive. We're not below our 3% threshold. Number three, holiday volume. It really doesn't look like anyone's trading, which is unusual for a sell-off. And number four, there was a post-Trump boost in economic activity immediately after the election. And I think we're going to see that once we get to Q4 earnings. And I think Delta is the canary in the coal mine. Next week on Wednesday, we'll hear the big banks, the financial companies will tell us what's going on. I expect those to be pretty good as well. And then again, we still have to wait for the first and second week of February before the Mag 7 and the big companies in the market tell us how they're doing. But I'm not too worried right now. I like my chances. I think we get a bounce. All right, enjoy your weekend. I'll see you next week for the news review. Take care. Okay, friends, that was the video. Hope you liked it. If you found it informative, good, entertaining, I'd love if you could scroll down here beneath the video and give me a like there. It helps us out with the algorithm. And then if you want to be notified first of anything new that we upload to the channel, if you come over here, click subscribe, you'll be the first to know as soon as we upload anything. Appreciate it. See you soon.